Hey everyone, welcome to Math 1530, the online course. What I want to do in this video is give you a brief overview of some things, give you some tips about the software that we're going to be using, and kind of give you a to-do list to do over the weekend. So when you first log in to D2L, this should be the screen that you're seeing. This is going to change a little bit after I get the video done because I'm going to post the video here where it says please watch the video. Also, I'll take this announcement down as well. This area that you're looking at here is going to be the announcements area. Pretty important area. I'm going to post a lot of things here, especially about the midterm and the final. Sometimes there'll be due dates that I want you to pay particular attention to, and other general things that I think are helpful I'll post here. So please take a moment and read those. I try not to make them long. The longest one will be obviously this video. As soon as you log in, the first place I encourage you to go is to the content area. When you go to the content area, it's probably going to leave you here at the table of contents. So this shows you everything all the way through the end of the course. So that's a little overwhelming. I encourage you to use the navigational tabs over here on the left. First place I encourage you to go is the course syllabus and schedule. So when you go there, you'll see there's two links. One is the tentative schedule. I'll go over that in just a second, and then the syllabus. So I'm going to click on this just so I can show you a couple of things. I'll go over some of this in more detail. Here is my office number and my office location. Guys, just because the class is online doesn't mean that you can't come see me in the office. So please utilize the office hour times that you have down here to come by and see me, even though the class is online. We can talk virtually as well, but if you want to see me face to face, these are times that I'm going to be in my office. If these times don't work for you and you still want to meet in person, just let me know and we'll set up a time to do that. Here's my email. For those of you that are not real familiar with D2L, the MTSU email is separate from the D2L email. I will be checking both of those. So if you look up here, this envelope here is actually the D2L email box. This is MTSU email. You can send messages to either one. That will be fine. The required text is this. I'll talk more about that in a second. I'll talk more about the calculator. I'll show you where the videos are, so I'm going to skip a lot of this for now. I do want to point out that there is a physical math lab that you can go to where there are tutors. So that's in KOM 124. They're open most days. I think the only day that they're not in there is on Saturday. I haven't got their hours yet, but they're generally open during normal business hours. And then on Sunday, I think they were open in the afternoons. Again, I'll have to wait to see what that schedule is when it comes out. You're also welcome to go to the tutoring spot. This is located in the library. If you've never been there, it's a nice place to check out additional tutors, and you can click on that link and it will take you to that information. I'm going to skip all the way down here until I get to your grades. If you're looking at your grades, the major portion of your grades is going to come from your exams. You'll have 3 online non-proctored exams. Those are going to be held on the MyStatLab. Again, I'll show that more detail in just a second. That's going to make up, those are 10% each. And then you'll also have your midterm and your final exam. Now your midterm is going to be online, but it's going to be proctored, meaning you're going to do it on MyStatLab, but you're either going to have to go to the testing center or you'll have to come meet me to do the exam. And again, I'll talk more about that as the semester progresses. The final exam is not online. It's an actual paper and pencil exam. And again, you'll have to do that in person. So when I emailed you before the semester or when you were interested in the class, those were the 2 things I wanted you to make sure that you knew were happening. So those are those proctored exams that I was talking about. The other portion of your grade is going to be made up of homework and quizzes. Those are going to be done on MyStatLab. And then the last part is the D2L discussion. Again, I'll show you where that is and talk more about it in a second. I'll let you read the rest of this. The biggest thing in an online class is that you don't get behind. It's very hard to get caught up if you ever do get behind. So please make sure you print off the schedule that I'll show you in just a second. In terms of homework, you'll see right here, I'm pretty flexible on the quizzes, on the homework. So I have tentative due dates on the homework, meaning that there are due dates, but you can work past them. I don't have those to close out at a certain time because I want you to have the ability to go in and work on those anytime that you want. However, the quizzes and tests are not flexible, so those due dates are hard, meaning that you need to get those assignments done by those dates. I do allow you to take the quizzes multiple times, but the tests are obviously done once, so you have one shot at the exams. So just FYI. Again, make sure you read all of this. All of this is important. I'm just not going into it in detail in the video. I do want to say one other thing about your exams. Between your midterm and your final, you do have to pass them both. So that's what this is talking about up here. The average of your midterm and final do have to be passing in order for you to pass the exam. So just that is a requirement of the course, so just FYI. I guess that's it on the syllabus. The rest of this is important information and applies to some of you. If you do have accommodations, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. We'll be happy to take care of those for you. Okay, if you have questions about the syllabus, please fire away. I'll be happy to answer anything about it, but please read that. Very important document. Here is your schedule. I've tried to make this as less cluttered as possible. Hopefully all the dates are right. I've checked them 3 or 4 times. I guess what I want to point out to you is at the top I have, the weeks, the homework sections out of my stat lab, and the book that we'll be covering, when your tests are, and the last thing that's on here is the discussion weeks. So what I've tried to do here is we're going to do discussions bi-weekly, meaning every other week. And I've highlighted those in green, so that's this note here. So we don't have a graded discussion during week 1, but we do have one in week 2, week 4, week 6. All the even numbered weeks are discussion weeks. So during those weeks, you have a little bit more work to do. That doesn't mean that we can't talk in those non-discussion weeks, but you do have graded discussion, which I'll show you where those are at in just a second. Other thing that's on here is your quiz due dates. So you'll see the quiz, the sections that the quiz is covering, as well as the due date for all of those. So again, take note of those. I highly encourage you to print this off. All right. Other things in the table of contents are the videos. So if you click on any of the tabs, you'll see the videos for particular tests. I have PDF notes that go along with the videos, so you'll be most interested in this one right now. So if you click on that, you'll have videos for all of the sections for your test 1, and then there's PDF notes that you can print off if you like that go along with those videos. Okay, so that's pretty much an overview of just the layout of D2L. The one thing that I haven't shown you is my stat lab. So this video is kind of long, so I encourage you to probably take a break here, pause the video, go get something to drink, go to the restroom, come back, and watch the rest of the video because I'm going to go in detail of what my stat lab is. So hopefully you did that. So to get started in my stat lab, there are 3 options for the access code. So I have a slide here I should have followed. So what do you have to get for the course? The one thing you have to get is the MyStatLab access code. There are optional things, hard copies of the book, graphing calculator, because you'll be able to use something called StatCrunch. But you got to have the MyStatLab access code. So what are your options for getting the MyStatLab access code? Option 1, you can buy the access code from the bookstore. Just go to the bookstore and tell them what class you're in. Option 2, you can buy a hard copy of the book and make sure it comes with an access code. Again, you can get that at the bookstore. If you buy a hard copy of the book online, like Amazon, it may not come with the access code, so make sure you get an access code. In terms of having the hard copy, that's up to you. There's a virtual copy of the book on MyStatLab, so you don't have to have the hard copy unless you just want it. Option 3 is you can buy access directly from the website. I'll show you where that is in a second. Very important note at the bottom. Everyone needs to at least register using the temporary access link ASAP, meaning that if you don't already have your access code, I want you to go ahead and use the temporary access link. That way you can go ahead and get in the course and you'll be ready to go. You'll have 14 days with that temporary access, but it is important that you use one of the 3 options above to make sure that you get full access within those 14 days so you don't get behind on your assignments. You'll still be responsible for those even if you let the temporary access lapse. Okay, so let me show you about my math lab. To get to the my stat lab, my math lab, sorry, I use those interchangeably. There's 2 ways. You can either go to the content, which is where we're at now, and scroll all the way to the bottom and click here, and then you can just click this link. Also, if you're on the course home tab, it will you can click this link over here on the right. I'm going to go out of this for just a second because it won't let me access this resource without logging me in automatically. So what I want to show you is once you click on this link, it's going to take you basically to a screen that looks like this. Now, on your MyStatLab packet, if you buy it from the bookstore, it's going to say to go to www.mymathlab or coursecompass.com. Do not do that. The class is integrated within D2L. So once you click on that link in D2L, it should send you to a place that looks like this. Now, some of you may have a Pearson account from previous courses. You're welcome to use that. If you're retaking Math 1530, then it's really important that you remember your access information, because then you won't have to pay for new access. For a lot of you, you may be creating a new Pearson account, or if you took a math class in the fall, you can use your old one. But I'm just going to go to create so you can just see what this looks like. I am going to just use a dummy account here. Please do use your MTSU email. Oops. Let me just change that. That way our emails correspond through MTSU email and not some outside one. So I encourage you to use your MTSU email. Sorry, I'm trying to type and make up a password here. So I'm just typing in some things. Okay, oh, I had it matched. Okay, just so I can get to the next screen. So you'll have to agree to the terms, and then we'll create an account. Again, this is not your course. I'm just trying to show you the screen. So if you buy your access code from the bookstore, you can just click here and enter the access code. Or if you buy the hard copy with the access code, you can click here and still enter that access code. Here's where you can pay directly to the website. If you do this, you don't have to go to the bookstore. You can just click here and pay the $105. I do not know how much the access code is from the bookstore, so you may want to price match and see which one's better. Here's the temporary access link that I'm talking about. Please click that today. If you don't, unless you're going to the bookstore to buy your access, go ahead and click this today so you can have access to MyStatLab and go ahead and get started if you want in your homework. Okay, after you do that, after you get registered, I want to show you what the class is going to look like. So here is basically what the course will look like once you get into MyStatLab. So on the left-hand side, once again, you'll have a navigational section. Any of these that have this guy with a cross through it, you won't be able to see it. So you're actually only going to be able to see these things. So in terms of the virtual copy of the book, you can go to eText or chapter contents. You click on that, show you all the chapters. You can read through the sections that you're required to read through for that week. eText is basically the same. I like going through chapter contents though, because I can go to the section I specifically want to go to. Homework is something you're going to be interested in. So click on the homework. All of the homework will come live on Sunday. I'm still kind of teetering with it, so I don't want you to accidentally go in one and then I can't edit it. So it'll go live on Sunday. Quizzes and tests will be here as well. Again, those will go live. The ones that you're seeing here are the ones that the publisher makes. I will have yours. They will be above this. So you're welcome to use these, but those won't be graded or be included in your grade in any way. Study plan is a nice resource that you can go to. Just a place that you can practice more problems. Gradebook, do note that this gradebook is different from the gradebook that's on D2L. This gradebook is just for your assignments that are on MyStatLab. StatCrunch is a software, a statistical software that we will be using. I'll show you more about that in the next coming week or so. So don't worry about that right now, but you will be using that. Okay, so that's MyStatLab. What I do want to give you is just a couple of things about MyStatLab. Number one, don't use Safari if you're using a Mac. So it does not like Safari. Number two, I encourage you all to use Google Chrome no matter what kind of computer you have. MyStatLab seems to work best with Google Chrome. Number three, if you're ever having problems with MyStatLab, the go-to solution is to clear your history and cookies on your browser and then restart it, and it seems to fix most things. Okay, that's it for MyStatLab. Last thing I want to show you is where the discussions are. So if you're here at the main course home, just go to Communications and then go to Discussions. Once you go there, here's a place that you can post questions to me. You're obviously welcome to email those to me as well. But this is a place that everybody can ask questions and we can have conversations there. In terms of introducing yourself, I want you to post an introduction, just a quick one, just so we can get a feel for who everybody is. And then if you scroll down, you'll see some more discussion threads. Now, these are not required for the first week, but they are related to our topics. So I encourage you, if you have some time, to get in here and play around with the ideas. There's just 2 discussion threads and with something to think about. They're not required, but I encourage you to get started thinking about the content for this week. In week 2, you can't see it right now. I'll take off the student view in just a second, but in week 2, there'll be other discussion threads that come up here. Let me go and do that. So you'll see I already have some planned announcements to come out, right? They're not out yet, but they will be coming. So again, please make sure you pay attention to the announcements area. In terms of the discussion area that I was talking about, you'll see that I have different discussions for different weeks. So you'll see for week 2, starting September 1st, you'll see these discussion threads will come live, and those are the ones that you'll be required to respond to in terms of discussion points for those bi-weekly discussions, right? The even numbered weeks, weeks 2, 4, 6, so on and so forth. Okay, guys, I know this is a long video, but there's a lot of information, especially for those of you that are new to the online class. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I do have a to-do list for you. Number 1, I want you to register on MyStatLab ASAP, meaning today. When you watch this video, go ahead and register, even if you're just using the temporary access. Number 2, highly encourage you to print off the syllabus. Please read it. There's a lot of important information there. Number 3, print off your course calendar. That will give you all your due dates. The only thing that's not on there is the due dates for the individual sections of the homework. There's just so many, I didn't want to overload that. But if you go to, once you click on the homework here on Sunday at midnight, you'll see all of the homework and quizzes, and you'll see the due dates that I have for the homework. The quizzes you already have the due dates for because those are in the course schedule. Number 4, post in the introductions area. I'll probably go ahead and open that up because I'm sending this video out today. So you can go ahead and post in the introductions, but please do that as soon as you can. And then please ask me any questions that you have. Guys, again, I hope this helps. If you have anything that I can help with, please let me know. Guys, I look forward to working with all of you throughout the semester, and I look forward to hearing from you.